What if I told you that the worst heartbreak of your life is actually the greatest opportunity you'll ever have? She left, and right now your mind is drowning in questions. Why did she go? What did I do wrong? Is she thinking about me? But here's the truth. None of that matters. What matters is what happens next. Most men break under the weight of rejection. They spiral, they chase, they beg. They let the pain consume them until there's nothing left but regret. But you have a choice. You can let this moment define you in the worst way, or you can use it to become the man you were always meant to be, the man she can't forget. Right now, she thinks she knows you. She thinks she's figured you out. She walked away believing you would sit in the ruins, trapped in your own misery, waiting for her to come back. But that version of you, he no longer exists. The man she left behind is dead. And from this moment forward, you are rebuilding yourself from the ground up, stronger, sharper, colder. You are stepping into a version of yourself that she never even imagined. And by the time she realizes what she lost, by the time the thought of you starts creeping into her mind late at night, by the time she wonders if she made a mistake, it will be too late. Because you are not the man who waits. You are the man who rises. This pain you feel, it is the fuel that will drive you forward. Every moment of doubt, every whisper of weakness, burn it. Let it become the fire that forges you into something greater. Do you want revenge? This is how you take it. Not with words, not with anger, but with absolute, undeniable transformation. She must look at you one day and realize that leaving you was the biggest mistake of her life. But by then, you won't even care. So now, I ask you, are you ready? Are you ready to stop being a prisoner to your emotions and start becoming the kind of man who doesn't need anyone to complete him? Because this is the moment everything changes. Like this video, subscribe and comment. Pain is my fuel. Now let's begin. Number 1. The emotional trap. Why you must break free. Right now, you feel the pull, that desperate, aching urge to reach out, to text her, to call her, to beg for another chance. Your mind is screaming at you, convincing you that if you just say the right words, if you just remind her of what you had, she'll come back. But let me tell you something, nothing pushes a woman further away than a man who can't control his emotions. Neediness is repulsive, desperation is poison, and every time you chase, you prove to her that she made the right decision in leaving. Think about it. If she truly valued you, would she have walked away so easily? Would she have left you wondering, suffering, questioning your worth? Number A. Woman who truly loves and respects a man does not abandon him. And if she did, that tells you everything you need to know. She believed you weren't strong enough to walk away. She believed you would crumble without her. And if you act out of emotion, if you let the pain dictate your next move, you will prove her right. But here's what she doesn't expect. She doesn't expect silence. She doesn't expect indifference. She expects the old you, the man who would do anything to get her back, the man who would chase. But that man is gone. You must cut yourself off completely. No texts, no calls, no watching her stories, no checking her social media. You must disappear so thoroughly that she starts to question everything. The second she feels like you've moved on without her, the second she realizes that you're not begging, you are no longer the man she thought she had figured out. And that is when the power shifts. Emotional control is everything. A Stoic man does not react. A Stoic man observes, calculates, and decides what is worthy of his energy. And her, she is no longer worthy, not because you hate her, not because you're bitter, but because a man who values himself does not dwell on those who do not value him. So you let go, not for her, but for you. You walk away, not as a tactic, not as a trick to win her back, but because you refuse to let anyone have power over you. And when she realizes that you are no longer in her grasp, when she sees that you have become untouchable, that's when the doubt will creep into her mind. Did I make a mistake? But by then, it won't matter, because you will have already moved on to something greater. Like this video, subscribe and comment. I control my emotions, not the other way around. Number 2. The power of indifference, becoming the unshaken man. You want to know what truly makes a woman regret losing you? It's not anger. It's not sadness. It's not even success. It's indifference. Nothing is more powerful than a man who is completely unbothered by the loss of a woman. Why? Because it signals one undeniable truth: you do not need her. And a man who does not need is far more attractive than a man who begs. Right now, she expects you to care. She expects you to be watching, waiting, hoping for a second chance. She expects to see hints of your pain on social media, to hear from friends that you're still thinking about her. And when she realizes that you don't, when she sees that you have moved on without hesitation, that's when the seed of doubt begins to grow in her mind. Because women are wired to crave validation. The moment she feels like she no longer has control over your emotions, she starts to question everything. Did I make a mistake? Did I misjudge him? Why isn't he chasing me like every other guy would? The answer is simple. You have become unshaken. You have mastered the art of detachment. A Stoic does not allow external events to dictate his inner world. Whether she stays or goes, it does not disturb the stillness of your mind. She could be laughing with another man, posting pictures, pretending she's happy. It does not matter. Her choices are hers, but your response is your power. And your response is silence. Your response is composure. Your response is absolute, unshakable indifference. She must feel your absence like a ghost in the room, not through words, not through petty games, but through the undeniable reality that you are not there anymore. You do not react. You do not seek her. You do not acknowledge her. And when she finally starts to notice, when she realizes that you have stepped into a version of yourself that no longer revolves around her, she will feel a discomfort she did not expect, the feeling of loss, because now it is she who has lost something valuable. And that is the moment the power shifts. That is the moment she begins to regret. But by then, you will have evolved into something greater. Like this video, subscribe and comment. I am unshaken. I am untouchable. Number 3. The rebirth, destroying the old, creating the new. The man she left is gone. The weak, emotional, dependent version of yourself. He no longer exists. This moment is not just about moving on. It's about reinvention. It's about erasing the old blueprint and rebuilding yourself from the ground up. Because if you stay the same, if you remain trapped in the habits, the mindset, the patterns that led to this moment, you will only repeat the cycle, and that is not an option. So now you begin the process of becoming unrecognizable, not just to her, but to yourself. Physically, mentally, financially, emotionally, you upgrade on every level. You train harder than ever before. You carve out a body that demands respect, that radiates discipline, that makes people pause when you walk into a room. You sharpen your mind, feeding it knowledge, cutting out distractions, eliminating everything that makes you weak. You build wealth, not for her, not for revenge, but because a man who controls his finances controls his future. You develop absolute emotional mastery, the ability to walk through fire without flinching, to remain unmoved no matter what happens around you. And then you watch. You watch as people start to take notice. The same friends who once pitied you now respect you. The world sees a different man, a man who is focused, powerful, dangerous. And she sees it too. Maybe she hears about it from mutual friends. Maybe she stumbles across a picture of you looking stronger, sharper, better than she remembers. And for the first time, the doubt creeps into her mind. This isn't the man I left. This isn't the man I thought I could replace. And that's when it hits her. She didn't just lose you. She lost the future version of you. But here's the thing. You're not doing this for her. You are doing this for yourself. Because this transformation is not about making her regret. It's about making yourself proud. It's about standing in front of the mirror, looking at the man staring back at you, and knowing without a doubt that you are no longer the same. That you are stronger, colder, untouchable. This is your rebirth. The weak man is dead. The new man, he fears nothing, he needs nothing, and that is what makes him unstoppable. Like this video, subscribe and comment. I rise from the ashes. Number 4. The silent comeback. The art of strategic absence. Silence is your greatest weapon. In a world where people beg for attention, where men plead for another chance, where desperation reeks from every message, your silence will be deafening, because while most men will cry, argue, or try to prove their worth, you will do the one thing she never expected. You will vanish. Not as a game, not as a trick, but as a man who understands his own value. Disappearing is not weakness, it is power. It forces people to wonder. It forces them to question. It forces them to miss what they took for granted. When you remove yourself completely, when you go silent without explanation, without anger, without resentment, you shift the entire dynamic. Because for the first time, she no longer has access to you. And that's when the doubt starts to creep in. Why hasn't he reached out? Did I misjudge him? Has he already moved on? You see, people are addicted to certainty. They want to know that you are still thinking about them. They want to know that they still have a hold on you. But when you remove yourself so completely, when you cut off all access, you create a void that her mind will desperately try to fill. She will start checking your social media, waiting for a sign that you still care. She will look for any proof that she still matters. And when she finds nothing, that's when the regret begins. Because here's what she never expected, that you would become unreachable, that you would become the one who got away, that instead of chasing, instead of begging, you would step into your power and leave her wondering what happened. And the longer you remain silent, the more valuable you become in her mind. Because time does something dangerous. It distorts memories. It makes people remember the good and forget the bad. And as the days turn into weeks, as the weeks turn into months, the man she left will begin to feel like a mistake she never should have made. But by then, it won't matter, because while she was stuck in the past, you were building your future. You were leveling up, evolving, transforming. And when she finally reaches out, because make no mistake, she will, you will no longer be the same. You will no longer be waiting. You will have already moved beyond her reach. That is the power of silence. That is the power of walking away. Like this video, subscribe and comment. Silence is my greatest weapon. Number 5. The cold approach. Re-entering the social market as a high-value man. Now that you've disappeared, now that you've rebuilt yourself into something stronger, sharper, and more disciplined, it's time for the next step. Re-entering the social market as a high-value man. But this time, you don't chase. You don't seek validation. You walk into every room with a presence that commands respect. Because now, you understand the one thing most men never figure out. Women are drawn to men who do not need them. The biggest mistake weak men make after a breakup is throwing themselves into meaningless rebounds, chasing after women in a desperate attempt to fill the void. But you move differently. You are not chasing, you are choosing. You are no longer the man who places women on a pedestal, who seeks their approval, who needs their attention to feel validated. Now you understand that you are the prize, and that shift in mindset, it changes everything. Women can sense a man's energy. They can tell when he is desperate. They can tell when he needs their validation, but they can also tell when a man is completely self-sufficient, when he is confident, indifferent, and in control. And that is what makes them want you, not because you're playing a game, not because you're pretending, but because you genuinely do not care whether they stay or go, because you have built a life that is already fulfilling without them. When you talk to women now, it's different. You are relaxed. You are present. You do not try to impress. You do not chase. You carry yourself with the quiet confidence of a man who knows his worth. You listen more than you speak. You let them wonder about you. You let them feel your presence without overexposing yourself. And the moment they sense that you are not like the other men, that you are not seeking their approval, they will feel something they cannot control: intrigue. Because here's the truth. Women are most attracted to the men who could walk away at any moment without hesitation. The man who is so focused on his purpose, so confident in his own value, that her presence in his life is simply a bonus, not a necessity. And the moment you master that energy, you will never have to chase again. And what about her, the one who left? When she sees this, when she realizes that you have not only moved on, but have become a man that other women now desire, the regret will cut deeper than she ever expected. But by then, it won't matter, because you will have already become something greater. Like this video, subscribe and comment. I am the prize. Number 6. The dark side of attraction, making her feel the loss. Now comes the part she never expected, the moment she realizes what she lost. But here's the truth. Regret is not something you tell her to feel, it's something she must experience on her own. You don't send messages telling her you've changed. You don't try to prove that you've become a better man. You let the weight of your absence, the undeniable evidence of your transformation, do all the talking. The human mind is wired to crave what it can't have. The moment you become scarce, the moment you remove all traces of the old you, the moment you no longer react to her existence, that is when she starts to wonder. Because at first, she was confident in her decision. She thought you would linger. She thought you would remain an option. But as time passes and you remain silent, unbothered, and focused on your own growth, a dangerous thought enters her mind. Did I make a mistake? Here's where the dark side of attraction comes in. Women are drawn to contrast. They need to see the difference between the man they left and the man you've become. And nothing makes that contrast clearer than when they realize they can no longer access you. When she scrolls through her social media and sees you looking stronger, sharper, more refined, when she hears from mutual friends that you're unbothered, thriving, and being pursued by other women, that's when the panic sets in. Because now she is on the outside looking in. She thought she had you figured out, but now she doesn't even recognize you. The man who once revolved around her is now untouchable. And the brutal truth is this: women do not regret losing a man until they see that another woman is benefiting from his transformation. That's when the loss becomes real. That's when the jealousy creeps in, because nothing haunts a woman more than seeing a man she once had become a man she can no longer reach. But here's where you must remain disciplined. You do not entertain her attempts to reconnect. You do not give her the closure she seeks. She made her choice, and now she must live with it. Because your goal was never to make her regret. You simply became so great that regret became inevitable. And by the time she realizes it, you have already outgrown her. This is how you win, not by seeking revenge, not by proving a point, but by becoming so unforgettable that the thought of losing you becomes her greatest regret. Like this video, subscribe and comment. I am unforgettable. Number 7. The master of his world, achieving complete emotional sovereignty. At this stage, something shifts inside you. The desire for revenge, the need for validation, the lingering thoughts of her, they start to fade. Not because you forced yourself to forget, but because you've outgrown the version of yourself that cared. You have reached emotional sovereignty, a state where nothing external controls you anymore. And that, right there, is the most powerful position any man can be in. Most men live as prisoners to their emotions. They react impulsively, they seek approval, they allow outside forces, whether it's women, opinions, or circumstances, to dictate their state of mind. But a Stoic man, a master of his world, he remains untouched by these things. He understands a fundamental truth. The man who needs nothing is the man who has everything. Think about it. When you need nothing from a woman, from society, from anyone, you become truly free. No woman can manipulate you with her absence. No rejection can shake your foundation. No setback can throw you off course, because your value, your peace, your identity is no longer tied to anything outside of yourself. It comes from within, and this is where you become dangerous. Not in a reckless way, but in a way that makes people notice, makes them respect you. You walk differently, talk differently, move differently. You are no longer swayed by trivial emotions. If a woman leaves, she leaves. If an opportunity fades, another will come. Nothing disturbs the stillness of your mind. And that aura, it's magnetic, because men like this are rare. And what about her? What happens when she sees the man you've become? She feels it, the power shift. She no longer holds control because you were never hers to control in the first place. She was merely a passing chapter in your book. And when she realizes that she is no longer needed, that her presence or absence has no effect on your world, it unsettles her. Because a man who cannot be controlled is a man who is unforgettable. But here's the beauty of it. You don't care anymore. You have become the master of your world. Whether she regrets it or not, whether she tries to come back or not, it doesn't matter. Because you are focused on something far greater than her. You are focused on your own path, your own mission, your own legacy. And no woman, no situation, no emotion will ever dictate your value again. This is true power. This is true freedom. Like this video, subscribe and comment. I am the master of my world. Number 8. The return. When she comes back, you decide. And then one day it happens. A message, a like, a sudden unexpected, "Hey, how have you been?" She reaches out, not because she cares, but because she feels the shift. She senses the change. The energy is different now. You are no longer waiting in the shadows, hoping she'll come back. You are in control, and that unsettles her. Women always come back, not always because they want you, but because they want to know they could have you. They want to confirm that you're still an option, still affected, still reachable. But here's where you must be ruthless. You do not go back to what broke you. You do not entertain a woman who only returns when she feels you slipping from her grasp. Because if she truly valued you, she wouldn't have walked away in the first place. The real question is this: when she comes back, what will you do? Will you revert to the man she left? Will you fall back into old patterns, thinking that now she finally realizes your worth? Or will you do what a high-value man does? Evaluate her from a position of power. Because this time, you decide. This time, you are the one with the final say. And that's the moment she will feel it. The loss, the regret, the weight of her own decision. She thought she could come back and pick up where she left off, but you are no longer that man. You have options now. You have control now. You are no longer grateful for her attention. She must now prove that she is worthy of yours. But here's the truth. By the time she comes back, you won't even want her anymore. Because you have leveled up so far beyond who you used to be that revisiting that chapter feels like a step backward. The old you would have jumped at the chance to fix things. The new you, he's already moved on to something better. So when she reaches out, don't be angry, don't be bitter, just smile, because she has finally realized what you knew all along. She lost something great, and you gained everything. Like this video, subscribe and comment. I choose my destiny. Number 9, the ultimate power, the man who walks alone. And now we reach the final lesson, the ultimate truth. The most powerful man in any room is the one who is willing to walk away from anything and anyone without hesitation, without fear. This is the man who cannot be controlled. The man who does not beg. The man who does not settle. He walks his path, whether people join him or not, because he understands a fundamental law of life. Everything is temporary, but his purpose is eternal. She was a chapter, but you are the entire book. She was a moment, but you are the legacy. And once you internalize this truth, once you truly embrace the mindset of a man who is whole on his own, nothing will ever shake you again. No rejection, no betrayal, no loss will ever hold power over you, because your happiness, your success, your peace are not dependent on anyone else. The weak man clings. He fears being alone. He needs validation, attention, approval. But the strong man, he thrives in solitude. He understands that being alone is not a punishment, it is an advantage. It is in silence, in solitude, that great men are forged. Empires are built by men who do not need distractions. And the greatest revenge, the greatest victory, is not proving anything to her or to the world. It's proving it to yourself. Because now, You see it clearly. She was never the prize. You were. And the moment you fully embrace this, the moment you stop looking back, the moment you walk forward without hesitation, you become unstoppable. So let her wonder, let her regret, let her sit in the silence, questioning every decision she made. You are already on to bigger things, because you are the man who walks alone, not because he has to, but because he chooses to. This is the ultimate power. This is true freedom. Like this video, subscribe and comment. I am the storm. And there it is. The transformation is complete. The man you were, the one who chased, who begged, who placed his worth in the hands of another, is gone. What remains is a man of discipline, purpose, and power. A man who does not crumble under loss, but instead uses it as fuel to rise higher than ever before. She left, and for a moment, it felt like the end. But now you understand, it was only the beginning of your evolution, the beginning of a journey that no longer revolves around her or anyone else, but you. You are no longer reacting to life, you are creating it. You have stepped into your strength, your purpose, and most importantly, your freedom. And now, the world will see. The doubters, the ones who overlooked you, the ones who thought they had you figured out, they will all watch as you become something unforgettable. But here's the truth. You're not doing it for them. You're not doing it to prove anything. You're doing it because this is who you were always meant to be. So take this energy and apply it to every part of your life. Never chase, never settle, never look back. Because you are no longer the man who waits. You are the man who walks forward without fear, without hesitation, without limits. If this message resonated with you, if you're ready to embrace the journey of becoming the highest version of yourself, then show your support. Like this video, subscribe, and most importantly, comment below. I will never be the same again. This is your time. Now go build the life you deserve. Stay strong, stay focused, stay stoic.